Good afternoon, everyone. This is Dr. Diggs. It's another beautiful day out here in the Pacific Northwest. Today, we're going to talk about everything relating to Niv, or how we are going to refer to her from now on, Nibbles. Now, Nibbles really caught on stream the other night, and I really can't think of Niv in any other way than in the perspective of Nibbles now. So let's get down and let's talk about Nibbles, and let's just fully break down this unit. She has move 3, jump 2, primary job sniper, secondary job gunner, and time mage. This is going to put her in a very similar boat to Gilgamesh, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. Just because she's a primary weapon bow, this does not mean that Nibbles is the harbinger of, you know, this bow meta that's absolutely going to destroy anybody, right? Nah. The Rosa, Jesus, everybody's getting nicknames today, god damn it. The Rosa and Nibbles combo is not going to bring, like, the bow death meta to all of us. Particularly when we don't even have swimsuit Lilith as well. So, you guys, I know y'all been waiting for bow meta. That's still not going to happen. Her armors are going to be hat, cloth, and accessory. Her TMR, the Vu mask, is going to give HP 312, evasion 15, and increase evasion rate 30 for 3 turns for all allies. I don't know what is up with all of these names. I'm going to mix up Nibbles, Vu, Rosa. It's just all going to happen today. Her mastery ability is going to give increased defense penetration 20 for self and increased missile attack 5. Nothing really exciting on her board stats. You're going to see lots of attack. You're going to see some agility, nothing related to crit, nothing related to like bonus defense or anything like that. She's 10% weak to earth and 20% resistance to water. The only thing that's really water in the meta right now, though, is Ildira, so I guess she has that going for her. 10% slash and 15% pierce resistance is much more relevant, though, when you consider the amount of dark slash and dark pierce units out there. 10% weakness to blunt and a 5% weakness to magic and 0 resistance to missile. Her limit break is actually really important, and you should have this maxed out. It gives decreased defense 35 for 3 targets, and it's 165% modifier attack. That decreases defense is really important, particularly for the Siren Raid. Now, when the Siren Raid comes out, there's not very many good ways to debuff Siren, and so having Niv's limit break is really important, right? The best combinations to killing Siren are a combination of Niv and Frederica if you want to stand a chance of one-shotting her. So making sure you have Niv's limit break fully leveled so that you can get the full defense minus 35 is going to be really important, because Siren has so many ways to not be debuff resisted that it's really going to increase your damage. Now, in terms of resistances, Nibbles does have 50% slow resistance, 10% confusion resistance, and 50% sleep resistance. Now, the sleep resistance, some people might be like, well, that's not a big deal. Well, it actually is a big deal, because when the Sleepy Girl comes out here in a couple weeks, one of her abilities actually does give sleep to a whole bunch of enemies. So the fact that Niv does have sleep resistance is really important when we're thinking about that unit coming out in the next couple of weeks. Now, of course, thank you so much to Ki Sang for always letting us show off his videos on the on our videos. He does have the pull video from his Nibbles, and you can see Nibbles walking down the aisle here, bending over and doing that bend and snap. Nibbles, you're doing amazing today, honey. Look at her. Look at her. Look at that LB. It's a 3 square. Oh, she's just going to destroy them. I think she's got that killer bow, too, on her. I wonder if the killer bow is her unique weapon, because I know we're going to be able to farm it this week, but I wonder if that's, like, her weapon that she always uses. Looks great. Looks fun. That defense minus 35 putting in work there, guys. Let's go ahead and talk about her abilities, because she is a dense and complicated unit. Her support abilities, long range increases range 1 for self, spiritual unity, increases range 2 for self, and decreases evasion rate 5 for self. She's going to have access to a lot of high range abilities, guys. Secret of the Sniper, missile attack 15%, luck plus 12% for self. CT change invalid, secretive shooting, missile attack 15 for self, and high speed chanting decreases activation time 250 for self. Now, all of these are viable. You can use any of these on Niv, and depending on how you build your Nibbles is going to really depend on, you know, how you're going to utilize her and what strategies you're going to use. Let me give you an example. If you're running Nibbles in Arena, you might be running Nibbles as a quicken / support unit, and she's one of the strongest quicken support units in the game. Not only is she going to get her quickens off, once she gets her quickens off, she will also be able to attack the enemy and deal significant damage and give significant debuffs to them. Now, you can also build her other ways, where maybe you're throwing, you know, maybe you're taking her in for a raid, right? Maybe you're doing the Siren raid. Well, all of a sudden you can give her missile attack plus 30, which is a huge increase in DPS, right? And you're going to be able to do significantly more damage with her in that raid. So how you build her is really going to depend on the type of content you're doing. And she's one of those units who, you know, I have this feeling when I do my 2021 tier list, she's going to be one of those units who's both really good in PvP and really good in PvE. And, you know, while we only really know about the Siren raid coming out that she's going to be good for, there's more than likely going to be other content in the future that she will excel at as well. Important note as well is that there are other lightning units coming out in JP now. There's also an MR lightning unit coming out that will be pairing really well with Nibbles, and she's only going to get more powerful when more of those units are released. Now for her counter smoke, so chance to counter physical damage and lower the accuracy 43 for 3 turns to target. I don't think that's a big deal. I think more likely you're going to be setting slow counter or counter shot. I am a personal huge fan of slow counter, and I think it's a very powerful ability. Let's talk about her main kit. Slow shoot decreases agility 5 to 20% for 3 turns to target. Aiming, increase range 1 for 3 turns for self, increases defense penetration 40 for 3 turns for self. That's a really powerful buff. Dispel spread, dispel all debuffs and haste from targets. It's an AoE ability, keep in mind. Ushisho's arrow, decrease move 1 for 3 turns to target. Barrier break arrow, breaks physical barrier for target. And then her sub-sniper abilities are going to be Arm Shoot, which is a 25% chance to inflict disable for 3 turns. Target Share, which is increase attack 30% for 3 turns to allies. And this is really important. Increases Nether Beast Killer 30% for 3 turns for allies. So this is the first instance that we really have, you know, an example of a Nether Beast Killer effect in the game, where a unit can buff for Nether Killer. This is really going to help you in your raid content again, right? Because Siren is classified as a Nether Beast. So again, she is going to be essential when we talk about setting up for the upcoming Siren raid and potentially other raids in the future, right? Paralyzed trap, 25% chance to inflict paralyze, 60% to 80% chance. So this is one of those situations where, you know, her primary kit is okay, her sub kit is okay, but you're gonna see her sub kit change depending on the type of content you're gonna do, right? If you're running raids, depending on the situation, you might be the limit break user and the target snare, or target share, that has to be target snare, right? Maybe not. But you might be the limit breaker, and then you might be doing target share, right, to give 30% damage buff. Or if you are wanting to sub gunner and chain with like Frederica's, you might be using double shot, right? So in your raid groups, you might be running nivs that are either focused on double shots. You might be running nivs that are, you know, going to be running on the limit break and then buffing the Nether Beast Killer. It'll be interesting to see kind of what the optimal setup is going to be for people. And I'm really interested to see how the Siren raid actually goes. Now, in terms of just a general kit, a couple things are missing here, and that would be like a 100% accuracy attack. One of the other things I'm noticing is that the range isn't as far as, you know, you would initially think. So definitely keep that in mind. Still pretty good. The other thing I'm thinking about is, like, in most PvP content, you're going to be using her as a support character. That doesn't mean she's going to be getting these pot shots off early, right? She's going to be casting most likely Quicken if you're using her as a support unit. And she's not going to be getting slow shot off. She's not going to be getting dispel spread. She's not going to be getting Uchiho's arrow off, right? She's going to be casting Quicken. She's going to be getting your other units to the front lines. By the time she's actually in the fray, she's not really going to be needed to use those abilities as far as I can see. I think she's most likely going to be kind of very similar to a Time Mage Gilgamesh, where, you know, he's quickening and then maybe he'll swoop in and clean up a little bit. That being said, I think it might actually be a good idea to turn Slow Shoot and Uchiho's arrow off so that you have Dispel Spread being used for the highest modifier attack. It's really going to be hard to say. It's going to depend on your composition. What I can say is that I did spend the night with Divi the other night. If you guys don't know who Divi is, he is a Korean streamer. He was on the 6-month anniversary stream, and he was showing me some of the strategies revolving Quicken with Gilgamesh that he's planning on slipping his Niv'ru in for, or his Nibbles, sorry. And I think it's going to be pretty viable. I think we're going to be seeing a lot of Quicken Nibbles. Gunner, I really think, is only going to be used for raiding, potentially, or even then, yeah, I would say only raiding, right? Because we're missing probably the key ability here, which is going to be Arm Shoot, right? There's no Disable Shot, which is the most powerful shot for the Gunner toolkit. The critical hit rate buff is not going to be too useful, and you're not going to be chasing blind on the enemies. Now, you can get Aim, which gives missile attack 38 if you are trying to make her deal more damage, right? So depending on how you want to build her, you know, some people might think she hits for a limp noodle because you're building her for a limp noodle and, like, don't have her bravery maxed out and don't have, you know, missile attack on her. You know, she's gonna hit how you build her, and if you can't build her to deal damage, she's not going to deal damage. So it might be, if you want to just have her be a strong bow user, use sub Gunner just for the aim buff, potentially. Other than that, I think Gunner's mostly going to be a raid exclusive kind of sub job. Time Mage, again, is really where I think it's going to be at most of the time. I think she's going to be used as a Quicken whore. Yeah, I think, you know, in live PvP, I think in Arena, I think in Guild Wars, I think in so many different content, she's just going to be a Quicken support archer, which will be interesting to see. In terms of equipment, Espers, Vision Cards, and other units that she's going to pair well with, Killer Bow is going to be coming out. Make sure you farm one of those. Personally, I'm going to be farming 2 or 3. Do not miss out on these. These are really good weapons. I'll probably be throwing a Platinum Robe on her or the new Fidesla Kerna. For TMRs, definitely Ziza's Bells. However, you know, I don't think Ziza's Bells are going to be really good on her because she's going to be spending most of her time in the beginning of the fight casting Quicken, which is going to, you know, not really require her to have Bells. If you're going to go bow main, you know, yes, Bells is going to be great for her. But I think probably a buffing TMR like Kaleido Moon maybe would be best. It's really going to be a tough call. In terms of vision cards, of course, Frederica's Dream not only boosts lightning damage on the individual unit, but missile attack for the party. Secondary after that is going to be the Test Subjects card. Ramza for agility. Titan, I would not put on her, but making sure it's in the party for physical Maneater is always going to be a plus. Fenrir, Odin, you know, the typical Curry. If you're a newer player and you don't have Frederica's Dream maxed out or you don't have Test Subjects, having the Curry card maxed out is going to be a good source of missile attack. Probably the thing I really want to talk about on this page, though, right here is right down here, and this is that new Lightning Dragoon unit that's going to be coming out here in just a little while, actually, probably in the next month or two. And I think people are really, like, unaware of this unit, right? So her name is actually going to be Alim, and she is a double cost MR Lightning unit that's coming out. Interesting. Sounds very familiar to Salir, right? She's going to be a Dragoon, Assassin, and Dual Gunner. Where she's really going to thrive, though, is her Mastery ability Her mastery ability gives lightning attack 15 for lightning allies, and it gives HP 10% for lightning allies. So that's going to be kind of the beginning of like a lightning ally buff. And I could definitely see like Frederica, Alim, and Nibbles all in a party together and kind of feeding off that, particularly with the double gunner sub. You never know what's going to happen. So in terms of Espers, pretty standard. Tetrasulfid and Chocobo for missile attack up, Odin for agility and Maneater, and of course Golem for the defense and Maneater as well. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. I hope you're all as excited for Nibbles as I am. I will be pulling for her tomorrow night on my stream. We will be streaming up until reset, so I can't wait to see you guys there. And then we are going to be doing a hard pull for Nibbles, and we'll probably be pulling for the new Final Fantasy XIV light attack card, or I guess the old new Final Fantasy XIV light attack card. How about that? So I can't wait to see most of you guys there. As always, if you do want to support me, make sure you use my affiliate link, dig.gs/coins. Come swing by our Discord at dig.gs/discord. And y'all, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.